our town of Halloween. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night.
Hi everyone, Tracy here. Well, today I'm going to share with you my newest project, and it's a mini book, and this is for Claudia. Claudia and I are in a Halloween swap, so a Halloween mini album swap. So this is going to her, and I'll put her information below. And I had such a blast creating this. Oh, it was so much fun. And if you're not familiar with the movie Hocus Pocus, this is the spell book from Hocus Pocus. I am so thrilled because it turned out way better than what I thought it would look like. And don't you love when that happens? And I got this idea, well, I was laying in bed and I'm thinking of how I was going to make her a mini album. And first I was going to do a spider web, but different than the pink and black one. But then this one just came to my head and I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. So of course I had to watch the movie again to get more inspiration, and I love that movie. And I got more inspiration from, oh, I forget her YouTube channel, but she does makeup, and she dressed up as Winnie from Hocus Pocus, and she was holding the spell book, and I'm like, oh, that is it. How can I make that? And then I remembered, because I'm trying to think, how am I going to make the binding and everything, and I was thinking a paper towel, like a half a paper towel roll, and then I remembered P had did a box for Secret Squirrel Sisters cigar box swap. I could be wrong, something like that. And she made it out of one of these paper mache books, and that just came to my mind. I remembered that, and I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. And the reason I have two of them is because once I was sharing this with my daughters, how I was going along with this, they fell in love with it. And then when I told them that I was giving it away, they kind of got upset and says, you gotta make us one too. So I have another one. And I don't know, I carry this around the house, and I'm like always going, book, come to me, book, because that's what she says in the movie, and it's just, it's so fun. So anyways, let me tell you a little bit how I made this. And in the movie, the book is covered with flesh. It's covered with skin. So I had to try and make this look like flesh. And when I was younger, I used to do that because, well, not make flesh, but I mean, I used to play around with tissue paper and stuff like that because it was inexpensive and I didn't have all the tools. Actually, I don't even think there were the tools that they have now. And what I do is I took watered down the Aleene's tacky glue. I water that down, and then I take my tissue paper and I crumple the heck out of it. I put the glue down with a paintbrush, put the tissue paper on, but you want the wrinkles in there still. You want the wrinkles in there. So so it looks all like skin, eh? Old, weathered. And then I put another layer on top, and then I painted it, and then I dry brushed it. Because I used to do painting. I used to do the folk art painting and stuff like that. And then here, to get the scars, what I did first I started like pinching the tissue paper to leave a little edge. But that was kind of a bit of work, and I wasn't getting the other one how I wanted it. So what I did was I took my hot glue gun and I just traced an edge, or drew an edge with the hot glue, and then put the paper over top, the tissue paper over top, and then painted it, and I love how it turned out. And can you tell I love how it turned out? And then the snakes, and this snake here I used, I think it's called Fimo, and you bake it in the oven anyway, and it was like a bright blue. That's the only color I had. So I was hoping, and it worked, that once it was baked you can paint it. So I painted it black, and then did the silver metallic paint on top. And then this piece here is chipboard, and so is the circle eye piece. This is chipboard too. And then the eye, I was trying to figure out what I would use for an eyeball, and I thought of a ping pong ball. I thought maybe they'll have them at the dollar store. Well, I found something even better when I went to the dollar store. They had a plastic chain with eyeballs, the size of ping pong balls, on the chain for $2. So I got a whole bunch of eyeballs if I ever need them for, well, I guess for my other book. And then I tissue papered around them. But what I also did was I put a half circle. Actually, I used one of my Easter eggs. Actually, I used one of these, and I cut it in half just to give some stability to the eye so it doesn't cave in. And then all the decorative painting. But like I said, I love it. And then the stitching is just embroidery floss, or no, sorry, crochet cotton. It's a little bit thicker and stiffer, and I put it in the glue to stiffen it and then weaved it around like that. And then you open it up like this, and then the mini album is inside. And then I just put papers on the inside of the box. So you take out the mini album, and I put ribbon in here so it's easier to pull out the book. And this binding was not fun because first I wanted to use the big binding. I have, I think it's 1 1/4, and it was too big. It didn't want to fit. So I went down to 1 inch. Still too big. It didn't want to fit. So I went down to the 3/4 inch, and it fit perfectly. So on to the book. So here is the spell book, and I printed that off on the computer. And this was a tag that I bought in a container of, they had all these different Halloween tags. I just colored the flower to make it look a little aged and put on one of these sparkly spiders. I love these sparkly spiders. And then I opened it up, and I didn't want to do too much with this page because it was kind of neat having the witch and the moon there. So all I did was I added, what did I put here? Diamond glaze. So the soup looks, her spell soup, whatever you call this stuff, the goop, looks all wet and shiny. And then I made a little pocket out of paper and inked. This was very, very bright. It was like this bright, so I wanted to tone it down, so I inked that up. And then I made some tags. And all the images in here, these are all from the Graphics Fairy. And then on the back, I just did some journaling spots because I love to journal. I'm not saying everybody loves to journal, but it's there if you want to. And if you don't, you can put another picture on there. And then on the next page, I did, here we go. On this page, I did the envelopes, and they're a little bit expanding here. And I just put a little tag in each one, covered it with paper, and then a journaling spot, and I put one of these legs on here. Claudia will understand that. She thinks it's funny that I get freaked out by like the graphic 45 leg pieces, but I love zombies and scary movies, and she just thinks that's so funny. And then here's some more paper and journaling, and then the last tag, and then some journaling, and then I cut the corners of them all out with this spiderweb punch. And then this page here, I embossed this whole background, and the stamp wasn't set on the block square, and so when I punched it, it was offset, and that just bothered me. But I liked the brown in the empty spaces here. So what I ended up doing was putting embossing powder all the way on the edges here too, so it looked more square. And then I didn't want to cover these up with tags because I love that look, so I made some clear tags. And then here they are. And what I did was I stamped directly on the acetate. This one turned out fine. This one, it didn't stamp all the letters out. And it's you do it with StazOn, so it's on there. You can't get it off. So what I did was I stamped it again on a piece of gray paper and then just matched it exactly to what the words were. So they're there. You can see them. They look like the gravestones behind the fence. So I'm happy with how those turned out. And then I just put some tiny, tiny little tags in this front here of this pocket, and I stamped those with the gravestones on place setting. And then this page here, it's funny because I was going to use the Tim Holtz Haunted House die, and I don't have it. I thought I bought it in on one of our trips, but I guess I didn't. So then I was thinking, well, what am I going to use for this paper? And I thought, well, this kind of looks like maybe walls of the witch's house. So that's what this is, supposed to be the inside of the witch's house. And so here the skull is on a plate, and this is part of the Tim Holtz dress form die, and so is this one here. This is the top and this is the bottom, and then I just cut that out freehand with the oval for the caged bird to fit inside of there. And what I did was The Walking Dead was on, so I was in a rush, so when I embossed it, I wanted to hurry up and let it dry. I could have just left it there, but I didn't. I had to hurry up and let it dry, so I took the heat gun, and this is what happened. It bubbled. And I like it around here, but I had to redo the bottom and the top because I didn't like the whole thing looking all bubbled and old. I just like this part here. And then these pictures on the wall are, I forget the names of them, but they change from a scary guy to a normal looking guy. Like there's Dracula, and then he looks normal. And then here, she's like ugly, and then she's like a little old lady, and then you turn her a bit, and she's like all vampire-ish. And then I also put some of the webbings for the spider webs on here. So that's supposed to be the inside of the witch's house. And then here they are outside in the woods making their brew. And here is another graphic 45 leg. There you go, Claudia. I used it, but not for myself. And then I made, these are supposed to look like the brooms, like the stirring sticks for the inside of the cauldron. And I cut the cauldron out. I drew it and cut it out and colored it with my Copics. So there's one. And here's the other one. And then I made this pocket here. This was the paper, and I fussy cut around all the bottles, and then I put a place for a pocket in here. And again, the graphic 45, or not graphic 45, sorry. These are all from the Graphic Fairy. And I love these. They're really pretty. Well, neat. And then this page, I didn't want to do too much with this owl because it's so stunning on his own. You could put a picture here if you wanted to, but I just added some more gloss to his eyes. And then I made the witch's spell book. And here is some journaling. And then the next page. And then the last page. And this one here is an actual stamp. It's not from the Graphic Fairy. And then the last page, out of the paper, I cut this out to make a pocket, and I made 3 bigger tags. And here I embossed that. Some journaling. This is part of the paper. And this is also just from the paper. And then here is a journaling tag that I inked because it was kind of bright orange, and I didn't like it bright like that, so I just inked around it for some journaling. And then the back, I put on one of my window envelope tags with the tag. And here, just have a letter to her, thanking her for doing this swap with me. And it's so cute because somebody who was in my swap now calls these, when I did this this swap a few months ago, she now calls these Tracy's tags. I thought that was really sweet. And then I have my little symbol there. But there's the mini album, and here is book. There's the book. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope Claudia likes this. And if she doesn't, she can mail it back to me because I love how it turned out. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Bye now.